Oh,
Hi, friends, and welcome to this week's class of Dead Funny University. I am your host, Kelsey, and today I am also going to be teaching you. And I am teaching you about one of my all time favorite games, Horizon Zero Dawn. And joining me today is our visiting student and very good friend, Brandon. How are you doing this evening?
Yellow. I'm good. Here to learn about Horizon Zero Dawn. I've seen the game a lot, but never played it, so this is a good, I guess, introduction into it
Now, you
before
say
the
you've
second one comes
seen
out.
it. Have you watched
Yeah.
your friends play or something?
No, I've seen clips just all around the internet on countdowns and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have any interest in the game?
Uh, I do, but at the same time I don't because I know Guerrilla makes that game and they made Killzone and they stopped making Killzone to make that, so I want them to make another Killzone.
Ah, okay.
But it does look
So
nice. I might get the second one just because I mean I plan on getting a PS5 too. So
okay, well, so if it's possible, if this game seems good enough from my explanation of it, would you give it a chance? No? Nope.
no,
Okay.
no, because there's so many because I still got to finish Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, and then there's more games coming out in between now
Ah,
and
that's true.
Halo Infinite. So
That's true. Yeah, your love, the thing that you live for, is coming out, so I
I
guess.
love Halo. It's the best.
All right, well, I have an opening quiz for you if you are ready for it.
Sure.
Now, the goal of the opening quiz, just so you and our viewers know, is to show both that you do not know as much about the you don't know very much about the game, and it's also to help give you questions to ask if I don't cover any of that information. It may be some of those questions may be hints towards things that you should ask once we're done with the basic information section. You'll flesh
Okay.
out the rest of the game with additional questions. So,
All right.
what is the main character's name?
I guess Aloy or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
I hope
Aloy.
so. I mean.
Who is the main character's mother?
I'm gonna pass on that one. I have no idea.
Okay, you pass on that one.
Make
You will be
should
asked it
make the
again, so you may want to write it down as a question just to make sure that you get that one.
you should make this multiple choice.
Oh, I should. That would be the nice
You
thing
don't
to
have to. You
do.
don't have to now.
I'm
You
not
don't
going
have
to
to
now.
now.
Right now we're recording. It's too late. Does the main character live on Earth?
Yes,
Why do people use primitive tools in the game?
because technology took over. I think, or
Hmm.
it looks like it, or AI. I don't have no idea.
And finally, what is a cauldron?
Cauldron?
Hmm.
Isn't it like a fucking pot that witches put shit in?
That is technically what it is. That's not what it is in the game, but yes, you are correct from a technical standpoint.
Uh, I guess in there is probably some key or something that Alloy needs to beat the boss, or whatever.
I mean, you're not far off. So, Horizon Zero Dawn is an action third-person role-playing game. And I have a little bit of an issue with it being called a role-playing game because you don't get to choose a character, you don't really get to choose that much of a story. So, I would argue it's a role assumption game. It's, as you know, developed by Guerrilla Games and it was published by Sony Interactive. It
Hmm.
was released exclusively for the PS4 in 2017, and it is being released for the PC on August 7th, 2020. It is finally coming to a platform that you can play. Hey, hey, you want to find games you can play on your PC? Maybe you could play this.
I have a PS4.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Also, this game is totally original IP. There's nothing licensed back to Tomb Raider or anything like this. So this was an original game and an original story. And actually,
Yeah.
it was published by Guerrilla Games. Developed by Guerrilla Games because in a pitch meeting, this was considered the most risky pitch that anybody did. And so they intentionally were like, "Go for that one because it's the riskiest one," which seems like a
I
crazy
think they
business
should.
decision.
I think they should do another kill. I mean, luckily it worked out for him, but I want another Killzone so bad, especially after the first trilogy. The first trailer was so good, and they were like Gorilla. I was like, and they were like Horizon Zero Dawn, or I was like, oh no. And then they came out with a statement saying like, yeah, we don't plan on making another Killzone anytime soon. I was like, oh god.
Well,
But the
Horizon
second one does
was
look
like
fun.
the second highest PS4 grossing PS4 game. So it is I can see where they're just like from a fiscal standpoint it makes more sense to make another Horizon, but
Yeah, that's
Killzone
true.
is a shooter, am I correct? First person shooter?
Yeah, it's first person shooter.
Okay. Is a really good one.
To me, yes. I would say why, but I don't want to say why.
Okay, I won't press you on
It's
that.
it's kind of bad. It's just the enemy faction in the game gives off vibes of a certain faction during a certain war, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool looking. And then, yeah.
All right. Anybody that's played the game will know what you mean. I won't, but I'm going to ask you after this episode is over. All right, so I'm going to jump into the story a little bit and feel free at any point to ask for further clarity or take notes and make sure that you kind of understand because I'm leaving a lot out of the story for you to flesh out with further questions later.
Okay. Wait,
So go ahead.
can I click on the picture?
Yeah, yeah. So go ahead and click on the
Okay.
picture that I sent you that says Aloy.
And why? What made this your favorite game?
So the reason that I love this game is the original IP was really fun. So playing something that hasn't been developed before was amazing. The engine is gorgeous. Horizon is so pretty. If you want to scroll all the way down to the ones that I titled Vistas, you can feel free to look at those right now. Like the game is just breathtakingly beautiful. On top of that, Aloy as a character is just an all around badass. Like she's so much fun to play, and there's so much that she can do in the world. And the idea of when I saw the cover of it, which has got this girl in primitive wear holding a bow staring at a gigantic mechanical monster, I'm like, this sounds like the dumbest shit in the world. Like machine animals, what the hell? But once you get into the game and you understand the lore of why those animals are there, like the background story to this game is fantastic and the
Yeah.
way they reveal it. And so they reveal it where you have not only the background of why the world is the way it is currently, but the world you're also in has complex political shit going on that you get pulled into. So you're simultaneously trying to solve a problem while learning about this like complex political world and this world that has been through just incredible travesty and devastation. And it's gorgeous and it's just so much fun. Like it's genuinely a really good time. Is that a good enough answer there for you?
That is a good enough answer.
My goal is to make you want to play it just a little bit. Not that you will play it, but if I make you want
I
to play
do.
it.
I do. I've always wanted to play it, but like it's just been this year for games has been bad. I just haven't been on my PlayStation much. Like
Yeah.
I just get on my Xbox like immediately. But PlayStation, I might get on it maybe if not tonight, maybe tomorrow to play Ghost of Tsushima or something. But I doubt I'll play Horizon. Didn't the DLC come out for it too, or something like that for
Yes.
the first?
Yeah. DLC came out a while
Yeah,
ago, and the DLC was also really good. Like the DLC was almost a complete story in itself. It was fantastic, and
wasn't it like some ice,
yeah.
like
So
snow?
it was called Horizon Frozen Wilds, is what it was, and a it was a community that was up in frozen everything. I can't remember. I want to say it was Wyoming, but I don't think that's quite right. Anyways, it was the story, like it was expansive. They added a whole bunch more machines that you could fight that you've never seen before that do a whole bunch of new shit. It was great. It was so much fun.
Wait, are they on Earth?
Yes, they are on Earth. They are on Earth.
Where are
They're on
they?
Earth in the 31st century.
Where are they on Earth?
So it's out west in the United States. So one of the pictures that I sent you is called Ruins Stadium. You can go ahead and look at that one. That is actually the Denver Stadium. And they grab one of the cool things that they do is to show
What
you
the
that
heck? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. It wouldn't let me freaking explode it. I was like, what the heck?
so one of the cool things that they do is you're on Earth because you can also click on the one that says ruins is you see as Aloy, you're traveling through these cities and Aloy doesn't know it's a city. She just knows that she's in ruins. But you look around, you're like, I can totally see light posts and buildings and cars. And like, this was a thriving city at one point. And even when you see the stadium, and they have her find these little things every now and then that show her what the world looked like back in our time. And so they actually
Yeah,
like have one where you can see the Denver Stadium over the ruins of the Denver Stadium. And it's really cool. I think I sent you both. So feel free to look at both of those if you want to. But that's one
yeah,
of
I
the
see 'em.
ways that the viewer knows, oh, hey, where are they? And then there's all kinds of these things that indicate that they are out west, specifically like Colorado, Wyoming. Um, I think it's mostly around Denver that she is located.
I don't know why, but it
Did it
at
show you
least those
everything?
two pictures, huh?
Did it show you everything?
What do you mean everything?
Oh, all the pictures all at once.
No, 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 no. The pictures that about the stadium and ruins, whatever.
Uh huh.
They, I don't know why, but it gives me vibes from Hellblade, Senua's Saga. For some reason, I don't know why. I guess it's just like uh how much scope is in the picture, I guess. How you can see like almost everything in the distance and all that jazz. But I don't know why.
Yeah, and I
It just
guess
does though.
that's something that I probably should have thought about when I was presenting to you is that you have an animation background, so you're going to see flaws like, hey, everything is perfectly clear no matter where it is. And I do think they do have things further in the background that actually do start to fade out of view a little bit and get a little fuzzier. But
I do, yeah, yeah.
so, as I mentioned, Aloy lives on Earth in the 31st century, and she is an exile from the Nora tribe of human beings. And
Nora tribe?
Nora, Nora, and she is an exile from the Nora.
Why is she exile?
She is an exile because she was not born from a human being. A
Ew.
mountain just spit her out. So she just appeared in there's the mountain that we're near where the Laura lives is called the Allmother, and they have myths about everybody coming from here and all that kind of good stuff. But there is a special room on the inside of this mountain, and when you are in it as a player, you're able to look around and be like, "Oh, this is clearly like an advanced fallout shelter. Like that's what this is. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is advanced technology. That's what this is." And
Yeah.
but the Nora don't think of it that way because they have no concept of what that is. They're just like, "Oh, this is a special magical religious place." And so they blocked it all off and only certain people that have religious abilities can go in there kind of thing. And they were in there one day and all of a sudden the mountain was just like blopped out a baby and they were just like, "Oh my god." And so they made her an exile because the mountain just doing this made people uncomfortable. They didn't think of her as special. They were just like, "This is weird and we don't know how to handle weird. So we're going to do it the way humans have for generations and we're going to ostracize the weird thing." And they
Jesus.
just yeah, right. And they sent her off with another exile named Rost to raise her.
Ross.
Rost, Rost.
It's a weird name.
And you don't totally find out why he was exiled, but I think he did it by choice because he had to do some bad stuff and people got hurt. You don't know the whole reason behind that. But he raises her, and he raises her to fight these machines. And the people in these small tribes they refuse to go into the ruins. They're afraid of them because it's the old people's stuff and it's scary and it's bad. And so they
Mm-hmm.
don't go in, and they have a taboo about going anywhere near them. She's an exile. She doesn't care. She's a taboo anyway, so she goes in.
Yeah.
And everybody around her uses bows and arrows and leather armor, and they have a little bit of minimal metalworking, but she finds something called a focus. So if you look in the pictures I sent you, one of them is titled Focus. Little
Okay.
piece of metal that sits in her ear, and she can use it to look at the world around her in a different way. Basically, it's a small scanning device that will return information to her. And so she's able to use her focus to scan the machines, and it'll say, hey, this particular machine is weak to fire, and it has all of these valuable parts on it, and these are the other weak spots. And so she's able, and like, this is the track that it walks in when it's guarding. And so she's able to see that track, and then she's able to plant herself near the track and kill it
Mm-hmm.
when it's coming after her. or sneak past it because she knows where it's going to walk so she can make sure that she's just not where it's looking. And so the focus is extremely valuable, and it's probably the most valuable thing that Aloy uses in the whole game. But everybody like doesn't trust her because of it, because they're like, "Oh, that's technology. Technology is evil." And she's like, "Y'all are idiots," and just moves on with her life.
Are there are there tribes that know about like the I guess the uses of technology in the
So
game?
there are groups of people that kind of play around with it a little bit, but these focuses are ancient technology. So they're back from our time. And
Hmm.
most of them don't work because over a millennia they've been damaged.
Yeah.
But some of them do. And the first time that you see one of those is actually where our story picks up next, when Aloy is 18 years old and she's trying to join the Nora. The Nora have a coming of age ceremony, and anybody that competes in the ceremony and finishes this competition, can be in
Hmm.
the Nora. So she's like, I don't want to be in exile anymore. I'm going to go do this. And right before that happens, she meets this guy that has a focus just like hers. And she starts trying to talk to him, and he acts all weird and runs away from her. So she goes on her little competition, and while she's out there, they get attacked. Her and all of the other kids, they all get attacked, and like people are pulling no punches. They are killing these kids.
Were they
Rost
attacked
show,
by?
they get attacked by the Eclipse, and the Eclipse are a
The
group of
Eclipse.
cultists, and they are, and we'll get into kind of how the Eclipse work in just a minute. Rost saves her life, dies in the process, and she gets knocked unconscious. And when she wakes up, all that she knows is the Eclipse attacked, all of the people around her are dead. She technically completed the challenge, so she's allowed to be a Nora. And the same religious women that sent her out to be in exile when she was young now go, "You're a Nora, and we're so happy to have you, and we're going to give you a special religious exemption to go figure out why the Eclipse attacked us and solve
Wait,
one."
what?
Yeah, basically, they said, "You're now
Wait,
part of us, but we want you to get out of our lands."
that's weird.
Yeah.
Wait, did they really mean that she was a Nora, or did they just say it just to like I guess just shut her up or something, or just get her out?
So they if she was an exile and she went outside of Nora lands, like there was no hope to ever include her. And this group of religious women is actually, you see pretty quickly they're in disagreement. Like there's one religious woman that's like, she is an exile, she is inhuman, we can't trust her ever, she shouldn't be a Nora, all the rest of them died, this is sick and terrible. And at least one of the other like religious women is like, she's like, she was born in our religious holy place, she completed the task, she's clearly human, like she should be one of us. So you see this as kind of a way for this group to get peace among themselves. Like she did complete the task, she now does get to be a Nora, but
Yeah.
they also, one of them is very intense about not wanting her around. So giving her this designation as, I think it's a seeker, I can't remember correctly, but I think it's a seeker, to go find, like solve some mysteries, means that she's able to get out of town as well. So everybody's happy. She gets to be one of them, but she's also gone.
Does this do they kind of I guess well it's more of like for Gorilla, but did they take like inspiration from I guess actual like native tribes? Like some of them like they'd be like, you're not actually part of the tribe until you go on this like spirit quest and then you come back and tell us what you saw and then you're a real blah tribe or something like that. Is that what this kind of is? Kind of?
Yeah, if you think of it similar, yeah, it's a similar thing.
Okay.
Um, for the Nora, they're called Braves technically, and it's, yeah, to be a Nora Brave, you have to complete this thing, and you go on it when you're ready to go on it. And so some people don't go on it until they're several years older, kind of thing, because they're too young or frail or whatever. So yeah, it definitely looks like they took inspiration from real native people tribes. So native people are doing their, so they've sent her off and they've sent her away, but they've given her one additional task. Not only is she supposed to figure out why the eclipse attacked, because they shouldn't have done that, it doesn't make any sense. Like the Nora didn't do anything to the eclipse, so they don't know why it happened, and a bunch of people
Hmm.
died. But also they sent her because they want her to solve a mystery. The machines that exist in this world are generally nice. They they have these little blue lights. They like you've got grazers, you've got striders, which are look like horses and things like that. You can go ahead and open up the ones that I just told you about. They're generally
Said Grazer.
grazer and strider. I'm not sure if I sent you the strider. Um,
Strider.
they're generally nice. They're just kind of around and they don't really cause problems. But what's been happening is over the course of several of years and years, slowly the machines have becoming more and more aggressive. They startle and they just attack people and they kill people. And then more and more aggressive and dangerous machines have been made. There should be one in there called like a stalker, and there should be one in there called like a thunderjaw, which I think I sent you mostly so you understand the scale of some of these monsters, which they're huge. They're huge
Thunderjaw.
and they're very deadly and they kill people all the time. And they sent her out to go, we want you to figure out what's going on with the eclipse, but we also want you to see if you can figure out why these mechanical beasts are being so cruel and harsh and why they're so violent and why they're consistently making more and more violent ones.
Who made them?
That is to be revealed by the story.
Boo.
I promise I will tell you who made them.
Was this
Actually,
supposed
I'll
to be a
give you the short
T-Rex?
answer. The cauldron makes them. They are made in cauldrons all over the world.
I wasn't wrong. It cooks up evil robots.
I didn't say you were wrong. It's just not a big old like bowl.
Makes robots.
So if you want to go ahead and look at the rest of the mechanical monsters that I sent you, they are amazing. Like the snap maw looks like an alligator. There's one called a shell walker that looks like a crab. The horse looks is one that looks like a horse. It's called a strider. There's one that looks like a giraffe if a giraffe was way taller, called a tall neck. There's one that
Yeah.
looks like a bison called a trampler. And I think I may have sent you one that looks like a cat called a stalker. Oh, and a
I
corruptor.
actually
Check that one out too.
Corruptor looks like a fucking Metal Gear.
It looks like a spider crossed with a scorpion. It's freaking awesome.
The Charger, that's like a ram. Corruptor looks like a Metal Gear Scorpion thing. Grazer looks like a deer. Stormbird looks like a bird.
Yeah, but if you look at that Stormbird, like look at Aloy in the bottom of that. Like that thing is huge in comparison with her.
Is it bigger than the whatchamacall?
The Thunderjaw?
Yeah.
No, the Thunderjaw is the biggest one that they have. And that is okay, I'm actually wrong on that technically, but it's the biggest one you encounter in any significant way out in the wild. Um,
Oh,
but it is gigantic. Like it is probably 5 stories tall. It is huge and terrifying. And
jeez.
you have to fight these things like more than once. You have to take these things down by yourself. And it's like, oh hell, they've got some that I didn't send you that look like 2 story tall ticks that are called bellowbacks, and they release like gas and like they where a tick would have a like big old thing full of blood. It's got a big old tank full of poison or fire, like basically petroleum, and
Mm-hmm.
it just sprays fire at you. They're deadly and they look awesome. They are so
Oh,
cool.
jeez.
And so
Wait,
you go ahead.
what is it called?
It's called a bellowback.
Bellowback.
Hmm.
I can type it in. I forgot.
I guess you are sitting in front of a
Bellowback.
computer there, aren't you?
What the heck? Get in here, freaking Bellowback. The heck is it supposed to be? It doesn't look like anything.
It kind of looks like a tall tick to me. At least that's what it made
What?
me think of.
I don't even know.
I mean, would
That
you
thing looks
describe it as something else?
looks like
Maybe if you crossed a tick with
a
a T-Rex.
yeah, a small one. Yeah, well, you said they're like 2 stories tall, but it looks
Yeah.
like a small T-Rex with like a bag like on his back or something.
Yeah. And the
Those are
Thunderjaw,
pretty cool though.
I think the Thunderjaw was inspired by a T-Rex, but it's like a massive one. That thing is huge. but not like I just realized you watch Gundams and stuff like that. Not like that huge. Like it's not the
Hmm.
size of a city. It's the size of a large building.
Oh, are there any of them that are big like
Yeah. There's none of
Gundam
them that are
huge?
big like a skyscraper. Like I think the
Oh,
Thunderjaw is probably the largest one that you encounter in the wild, and like I said, that one's probably 5 or 6 stories tall. Like big, but not the size of the Empire State Building.
yeah,
And so those are some of the like the animals that you encounter, and they have valuable drops on them. So crafting is a big part of what you do. You can craft all kinds of different arrows and different bombs and different like tripwires and things like that. And you've got all kinds of weapons that you can use to accomplish various tasks. Because a huge part of this game isn't just can you go out and punch the thing really hard, but it's setting traps and it's doing stealthy things to try to basically use a human ingenuity to fool AI. And
yeah.
so if you know the thing's going to
Wait, so
walk
they
back
are
and
AI?
what was they have a limited form of AI. Like these would be the the animals you encounter are better described as VI. Like they're virtual intelligence. They have very limited amount of things that they can do. But you do encounter AI further along in the game, and I will tell you about that when we get there with the story.
Okay.
So, give me just a second. We have gotten haha, yes. We've gotten so far along in my notes that I'm trying to figure out where in the world. Oh, yes. So as you are leaving town, you've just been anointed a Nora. The Nora still aren't treating you well because you've been in exile so long. They still don't trust you. As you're
Uh-huh.
leaving, the Eclipse attack the town that you're in with one of those big corruptors, and you destroy it, and it's a really hard fight. And then you get this little thing. And you take it off of the corruptor and you add it to the spear that you have. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to corrupt other machines. And I put that in air quotes. And that corruption, when it's used by your enemies, usually it's used to make animals more violent and more willing to attack you.
Hmm.
When Aloy uses it, she can actually use it to make these animals more docile and follow her instructions and actually even protect her and fight for her. And so
With
one of
any
the
of them?
what was that?
With any of them? Any of these robots?
So that's actually the whole reason that you go and do cauldrons. If you think of cauldron kind of like a challenge dungeon kind of thing, it's going to be a really, really, really hard fight. But when you complete a dungeon, you've killed everything in it, you've reset the dungeon, and I'm going to say reshackled the dungeon is probably a good way to describe it, and I'll explain that in a minute. Then what you actually gain is the ability to or the cauldron, not the dungeon, excuse me. You gain the ability to override any creatures that were made by that cauldron. So you have to like there's I think the first cauldron's like level 4 and then they go up to like level 35 or something like that. So you have to be a high enough level to actually even make it through the cauldron. But when you do, eventually, yes, you gain the ability to override thunderjaws and storm birds and everything that you can find. So getting the cauldrons done early is one of the easiest ways to make the rest of the game much easier.
Oh, okay.
That's actually my husband and I started playing this game at the same time together, and we would like if I got home first, I would play the game, and then when he would get home, he'd kind of be like "Mrrr," until I'd put down the game, and then he could play. um, and he actually got really frustrated because he came home one day and I had defeated all the cauldrons, and he hadn't even started on them, and I was able to overpower. There were two Thunderjaws in the same place, and I was over to
Uh-huh.
override one Thunderjaw and go and make it fight the other Thunderjaw for me, and then I was
Yeah.
able to just kill them when they were done, kind of thing, because they were so weakened. And he was so mad because he's like, wait a minute, I want to do that. And I'm like, well, then you got to do what I did. So he abandoned all of his quests and started doing the cauldrons.
Jeez.
It was fun. And it's really fun to do that too because the controller shakes, but also the ground shakes. So like the bison one, the tramplers, they're usually
Hmm.
in groups of like 40 or 50. And so you can override one of them and then it'll just start taking on the rest and the rest will like turn and beat it up and then like you just have to override two or three but the ground is shaking around you, they're making a ton of noise and you can even get trampled on accident as they start attacking the crap out of each other. It's really cool.
Jeez.
So the best thing to do is override and bolt. So because like those thunderjaws will step on you and you will die. There is no way around that.
How big are they compared to like Aloy?
The tramplers. So the trampler is actually about the size of a regular bison, and I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, but those are usually like they're 5 or 6 feet at the shoulder, so they're pretty
Hmm.
tall. They might even be up to 7 feet at the shoulder. They're pretty huge.
Jeez.
Yeah, but the grazers are like the grazers are the size of a regular deer or elk. So their horns or their antlers make them pretty tall. Like they'd be like 7 or 8 feet at the top of the antlers, but those antlers actually, I don't know if you're looking at the grazer, but those antlers actually come down and spin. If you think like General Grievous in Star Wars, where he brings those arms down and they spin really fast and he chases him,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they do, except they run at you really fast and it's very destructive and amazing.
Oh crap.
Yeah, it's super cool.
That's pretty
All
cool.
these have unique ways of killing you that very much fit the monster that they are. And that's just, I mean, monster's the wrong word, but fits the machine that they are. And it's so neat because each animal is distinct. Like a grazer and a strider, even though the strider's just a horse. And then there's
Hmm.
another one, oh gosh, I don't know if I sent it to you. There's one that looks, oh, charger. Yeah, it looks like a bull, like a longhorn bull.
Yeah.
That has a totally different way of attacking you and totally different stuff you can get from it than the grazer, which is totally different than the trampler, even though they look kind of similar. And I absolutely love that they took the time to do that and to make that way. So while you're going through this world, there is a main quest that you can follow. And I'm about to tell you that story of that main quest. But there's also a ton of side quests. And I would argue the side quests add so much to the game. There's all kinds of like bandit hideouts that you can take down. There's all these cauldrons that you can do. You don't have to do the cauldrons, I don't think, to further the game, but you can do them. There's all kinds of discoverables and there's just a lot to do in this open world around the plot that makes the game really fun. So if you're not in the mood for being in a big fight and you just want to fuck around and go and find some some thunderjaw to
Yeah.
piss off, you can go find a thunderjaw to piss off. But if you want to find some collectibles and look at some pretty things, you can do that as well. And there's different areas that have different kind of fauna and as or flora and fauna in them. So there's a whole jungle section, and that's where you find the stalkers, which are the ones that look like panthers. And so you get different animals down in that jungle section than you do in the desert, where you find like the snap maws and stuff like that, which look like alligators and are super fun to kill. I love taking out the snap maws. They're fun because one of the weapons that Aloy has is an exploder arrow. So it hits and then it blows all the it blows shrapnel off. And so it'll actually
Hmm.
remove parts from these creatures. And so
Yeah.
these creatures will have like, I think when you looked at the bellow back, you may have seen that big ol' that big bag of like petroleum basically. You can set that on
Yeah.
fire and it'll explode, and then it can't hit you with it can't hit you with fire breath anymore, but it's also on fire because you just exploded fire all over it. And so
Yeah.
that's like some of the fun is figuring out the unique ways that you can take these animals down. It's really cool. But as she's so you've got those side quests which are worth doing, but one of the things that the side quests do is you have opportunities in those side quests to kind of make decisions and side with different people, and there's consequences of those decisions, but none of them are all that significant. The consequences are basically who's going to stand with you in the final battle. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to have allies or did you piss everybody off? Like that's
Can you go to the last battle alone?
I believe you can, not totally alone because just via the plot, you are forced to have certain allies. Like there's somebody on your side kind of thing, but you can absolutely go there with almost no help beyond what the plot gives you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, it is cool. And one of the things that they did with the DLC is before the DLC was released, I actually finished this game, and in the final moments, I noticed this like there's all of my allies standing around me, and there was just this hole where nobody was, but there was clearly a hole for them, and I'm like, I did all the side quests. Who did I piss off? And then I finally realized, oh, that's where they left this hole for the DLC, but I haven't done the DLC yet because it hasn't come out yet. But I was that close to the final battle. I wasn't going to hold back so I could wait the 2 months for the DLC to be released. That was not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, while you're going through this world, you are discovering two different worlds at the exact same time. You're discovering the world of Aloy's time, which is run by the Karja, which is a dominant military power that has conquered and ruled the whole world for a little while. And the Karja worship the sun And their very last king was a brutal, insane murderer. Like, think Khaleesi levels of insanity. Like, he grabbed whole
Yeah.
villages of people, and that stadium picture that I sent you, it's actually called the
Hmm.
Sun Ring, and he just threw people and unarmed people and machines in there and let them burn and die. Like, he was insane. And his son has recently taken over the throne and is trying to make up for the wrongs that his father did, but also try to keep all of these different peoples, these tribal peoples, united under one rule. And you meet him and he wants your help. He also wants to sleep with you, but you say no. and then you move on. The other world that you're discovering is you're discovering the world of the past, and you're very interested in the world of the past because when remember that at the very beginning I mentioned that guy that had the focus acted real weird, and then your group got attacked, and that was kind of the start of Aloy's story.
Hmm.
When that happened, you hear this voice that is absolutely terrifying say identified Elizabeth Sobek. When the guy with the focus looked at you, that's what it said, and then it said eliminate or something like that. So you
Who's
know
that?
something wants to kill you, but it thinks you are Elizabeth Sobek.
Is that like her mom or something?
So here's the background story. And it takes you the whole game to figure this out, but I'm going to give it to you in kind of the easiest way. So, back in our time, there was a company called Faro Automated Solutions, and it was a robotics company, and it was primarily a military contractor. And
Hmm.
they built a series of robots that did two things, both things that they were asked to do. Create a robot that could consume biomass as fuel, so they didn't have to have a shipping line out there to like fuel the damn things, and
Hmm.
build one that could self-replicate. So if it got hurt or if it needed to make new ones, it could do that. Well, Pharaoh did this, and then they lost signal control over them. So now you have robots that were specifically designed by military contractors to destroy everything. So it was meant to just be released into an area, destroy everything in the area, and then they would come up and clean it and claim it as victory. So they have destructive robots that can self replicate and consume biomass as fuel, and they just lost control of them. So these robots start going through the whole world,
What the heck?
destroying everything that they can see. They're killing humans, they're killing animals, they're killing plant matter. They are self replicating as fast as they can, and they're destroying everything that they can see to do it.
How they lose control?
Um, I can't remember all the details of it. They lost they like the signal that was controlling them like cut out, and then they couldn't get control back. And so when this happened, the head of Faros Automated Solutions called Elizabeth Sobek, who is a brilliant scientist during this time, and he said, "Hey, what do we have to do to salvage this situation? Help us salvage this." And Elizabeth created Project Zero Dawn, and she worked on it. And they thought what she was going to do is she was going to find a way to take control of the robots. Instead,
Hmm.
she created Gaia. So I sent you a picture of Gaia, and you can go ahead and click on that now, and you'll see not only Elizabeth Sobek, but you'll see Gaia. Gaia is an
Gaia.
AI with a whole bunch of sub-functions underneath her. And each of those sub-functions, the whole goal of Gaia is the planet is going to get wiped out by these robots. There's no
Hmm.
stopping that. They just can't stop it. And
Yeah.
so, if the world is going to get destroyed, what are we going to do? Gaia is an AI that was built by smart, intelligent minds from all over the world that they brought together. And each of these subfunctions, I'll go through them real fast. Hephaestus is the cauldrons that you encounter, and that's just the building mechanism of Gaia. Poseidon detoxifies the ocean and the water. Demeter replants seeds. Apollo actually holds all human knowledge. Aether detoxes the atmosphere. Artemis replenishes animals. Minerva broadcasts signals all over the world, so something like what happened with the Pharaoh robots can't happen again. And
Yeah.
Eleuthia is produces genetically diverse human beings, so you don't end up with a whole bunch of inbred mongrels. And finally, you have Hades. So, Gaia is if we can't save this world, let's make sure that the world that follows can hold human beings. And so,
Hmm.
Gaia's whole purpose is to make sure that once everything's been neutralized, start replanting seeds, start rebuilding the earth, start repopulating, start saving this planet, and then reintroduce man into that. And one of the reasons Hades exists is they recognize that Gaia probably wasn't going to get it right the first time. She was probably going to make a mistake. And they gave her a female characteristic in the AI, so I'm calling her her on purpose. She was probably
Well,
going to make a
isn't
mistake.
Gaia?
Yes, Gaia is female as well. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
When she made a mistake, Hades is a subfunction that Gaia would go, you know what? I messed up. This is too out of whack. Go ahead, create killer robots, destroy and bring the entire world back to zero, and let me start again. Now,
Sounds like
go ahead.
Halo a little bit.
Oh,
Not
really?
really.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
man.
in Halo, they the Halo rings are used to wipe out all of existence, but it's like there's a enemy called the Flood that literally like they just destroy and take over everything, like everything that lives, like even like just like they just like turn everything into like this fleshy mess almost. It's pretty fucking gross. But whenever like it overruns everything and there's nothing else they can do to stop it, the Forerunners they activate the rings and wipe everything out. But before that, they get like I guess they get a pair of every being and they kind of re-put them out there. I remember like seeing it in one of the movies and like I haven't dug that deep into the lore that much. I just read like a couple books, but I know it was in one of the movies they covered it like somewhat like that. And it's like they pretty much wipe out everything and then restart.
Okay, so they kind of have, like, they kind of make an arc at the end of it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things in Halo 2, the arc, and it makes the rings.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything about Halo. That's why you're going to teach me actually a Dead Funny University on Halo here soon. But interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So,
gonna be a lot.
yeah, it's going to be I'm looking forward to it though. I'm genuinely am cuz you love it that much. I feel like the people that should teach these classes are the people that love whatever they're talking about. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't let anybody
So,
else teach me Halo. So, Hades, the you may remember one of the like the two missions that Aloy had was figure out why the eclipse attacked and
hmm
figure out why the machines are becoming evil. Hades is the answer to both of those things. So what happened was a mysterious signal came and unshackled Hades from Gaia. Turned it on, but unshackled it. So Gaia can't get control of it anymore. So Hades is hijacking cauldrons and attempting to do what it was designed to do. If Hades is on, everything has to die. Everything has to die. But since it
hmm
doesn't have control, it doesn't have Gaia's support. It can't get into the rest of it can't get into the cauldrons, it can't get into the rest of this stuff. But what it can do is it can transmit to the focuses. And so the guy that was wearing the focus, it was telling him, "Hey, she needs to die." And that's because the Hades as a subfunction knew Elizabeth Sobek back as the scientist that helped create him and knew it was a danger, knew Elizabeth as a danger, and was like, Elizabeth's here to
Uh,
shut me off, take her out. And so that's why that started it. But Hades, whenever people pick up focuses in within his range, he starts speaking to them. And these are tribal people, these are people that don't have a great understanding of what technology is. And so Hades seems like a god to them. And that's how they start treating him. And he creates this entire group of people that are following him and following his instructions and doing what he wants because they think he is a god.
is
And
Hades just a he's just a part of an AI?
yeah, he's just a subfunction of
Does
an
he
AI.
ever does he ever get out into like one of the like I guess robots or something like that? Does he ever try to?
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He does a couple of times. You find this gigantic robot, and that one's a bigger than a Thunderjaw. That one's huge. And I can't remember what it's called. I think it's a Titan, but I'm not absolutely sure. In fact, I'm certain it's not
hmm
a Titan. I just don't remember what it's called. He gets into one of those, and at one point, basically Gaia informs Aloy, like, I brought you back as Elizabeth Sobek because you were the Elizabeth, excuse me, had the security clearance to get into all of these cauldrons. So they'll open up for
hmm
you and they wouldn't open up for anybody else. And you know how to use the override, that override device. I need you to go in, purge Hades and override him and reshackle him to Gaia. And that is your big final battle. Hades has taken over a whole bunch of the dangerous monsters, so you've got just swarms of scrappers and thunderjaws and snapmaws just coming and attacking the capital city. And I think capital is one of the ones I sent you, so you can feel free to open that up if you'd like knocking over buildings,
Capital.
destroying people, tearing down trees, just causing all kinds of havoc. And Aloy is trying to purge Hades and reshackle him to Gaia, which you do successfully do, and that gives away the end of the game, but you get the point. You wouldn't really have a great game if you were like, nope, you failed. But
I
at
re-
the end, go ahead.
what's the well, I know the second one is supposed to be like about some, I guess, some kind of bacteria or something like that that's killing like the animals, because I know like wildlife, actual wildlife's coming back in the second one. Like, is that something hinted in the first one
So
before they announced this?
what's hinted in the first one is that the problem isn't complete. Like you reshackled Hades, which is important, but Gaia Gaia isn't totally restored. She doesn't have the power that she needs to run properly. And and we've got the rest of these that we need to go and check on because where did that mysterious signal come from that unshackled Hades? Like, how did that happen? That should never have happened. And so we
Hmm.
need to go and check on that and we need to figure out what's going on there. And they do hint that even though human beings are here, if this becomes unsustainable for life, Hades is going to come back online with Gaia's permission and just go to town on everything that's here.
Yeah.
And that's a challenging reality. So you definitely end the story recognizing that there are more questions and more mysteries to be solved, some of which are like subplots that I didn't go into just because if I went into all the subplots, we would be here for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But you
I, I
definitely go ahead.
I know that game's like huge. I know it's like super huge game.
It is, which actually I'm super excited about because I now want gameplay in the background anytime we're talking about a game for Dead Funny University. And so
Hmm.
I am absolutely very intentionally going to throw in, I'm going to go all over the place. I'm going to go fight a Thunderjaw. I'm going to make Thunderjaws fight each other. That's what I'm going to throw in behind this thing. I'm so excited. I'm excited to go back and replay it. It's such a good game. Oh, and it's so pretty. It's still so pretty.
I might maybe there'll be a like a freaking bundle for the PlayStation 5. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a bundle. So like Horizon Zero Dawn 2 and it's gonna come with the first one. That's probably gonna happen. And
Oh,
I'll probably get it then.
pretty much guaranteed. And that kind of a bundle is exactly what my husband and I would be looking for because there's no way that game's going to come out and I'm not going to play it. Like that's just not going to
Yeah.
happen. I'm going to play that game, and like they just did such a good job with this first story. Like I gave it to you in like I gave it to you in a really basic format, but there's a ton of stuff that I didn't go into, and I'm actually leaving a bunch of that for the additional information if you have questions that you want to ask. But there's so much in this game to make you challenge because they documented the old world documented everything, and so you run
Hmm.
across all kinds of like video logs and things like that of people processing mortality. Like, I'm trapped in a bunker. I'm working on Gaia. I'm doing the best I can, but I also know like I'm never leaving this bunker. Like at some point, the swarm, which is all these robots, they're gonna find me, they're gonna kill me, or I'm gonna suffocate and die in the bunker. Like there is no other like option for me. And so people trying to process the mortality of that and the harsh reality of of what remains of their existence, while at the same time doing high quality work for human beings that they'll never know and never see. And it's
Hmm.
just like you hear that struggle, you get to hear huge amazing debates about Apollo, the particular module in the AI that records all human knowledge. Huge debates about what goes into that. Oh, art should go into that. Well, whose art should go into that? Well, this art that
How
you're
does it
throwing in there has a racial connotation to it. So, do we talk about racism in our record of human knowledge? Do we talk about sexism in our record of human knowledge? Do we how do we record these things and how do we record the reality that eventually mankind will always come back to war? That's a belief that we have, but is that a belief in every culture? So how do you record that across different cultures? And like you get to watch some of these debates that are happening, and and how they end is unexpected, to say the
how
least.
does it how does it get all the human knowledge? Is it something that just they keep getting? Like, somehow, or is it like kind of capped like from where they're at now?
So it's all human knowledge pre-destruction, and so they're getting they're having like they're downloading everything behind Wikipedia. They're grabbing like museums are going through and recording all of their information, like whatever historical accomplishments human beings have done, all of that's getting recorded, philosophy is getting recorded. So you're getting professors and military leaders and people like whatever they can get of human knowledge. It's capped only at whatever we can get before the months the night before these robots kill us all.
Oh,
And they're
huh.
taking everything in, and it's really interesting to hear how they're doing that. It's just really cool.
So how? I'm just curious because the you've seen the second one's like announcement trailer, right?
I know that it's coming out. I haven't actually watched the trailer yet, which I think I should have by now, but
Uh,
no,
does
why?
it
Go
like
ahead.
because it I don't know if I don't know if it's in the first one. I know there's like forests and stuff and all this like
Mhm.
these different areas, but in the second one, the trailer showed like a bunch of little like tropical areas, like with water and stuff, with beaches and all that stuff and
Yeah.
everything. It looked is was that in the first one?
So there are tropical areas that have beaches and things like that, but they're like you get a desert that has a beach. There's definitely a tropical jungle that's on the
Hmm.
other side of that particular large river, but there isn't a huge body of water like an ocean or a Lake Michigan or something like that. Like everything's smaller than that.
Could you swim in the first one?
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious because the trailer showed like I don't know from what I saw. I just remember like a beach and like some I think it was a fox or something dying in a forest or something like that because there's like some thing that's corrupting the land. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know the story, so I didn't know if that was something that's in the first one. Is there anything like corrupting the land, like kind of poisoning stuff that?
Yes. So that there's corruption, and the corruption occurs in primarily in the machines. You see it in the machines. You can tell which machines have been corrupted. But corruption also hurts the land and it hurts Aloy. Like if Aloy comes into contact with corruption, and you can make like there are certain ways you can like harvest corruption and you can use it in crafting so you can make corruptor arrows that will corrupt things. So there
Hmm.
is a corruption, but it's primarily mechanical at this point. It is not like it affects the natural world a little bit, but not a ton. So I wonder if the corruption expands and starts affecting the natural world.
I guess so. I have no idea.
It's been a
I
long
guess
time
we'll
since
know
I've
whenever.
played any of the corruption missions. I know that
I
being
guess
on
we'll
the
know when the
land hurt
second one comes
Aloy,
out.
but yeah. I'm sorry, what?
I said I guess we'll know when the second one comes out.
That's true.
It looks like it. It looks like it. Like something was dying, and I was like, all right. I was like, cool. I was like, I don't know. I don't know the story.
I like your sum up of this. All right. Cool.
Yeah, because I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Like, I mean, I'm gonna get. I don't know. I first I was like, I'm gonna wait till I get a P. I'm gonna wait till they announce God of War 2 before I get a PS5. But now I'm like, I'm not even sure because they might be announcing something else besides Horizon 2.
It better be Horizon 2. Horizon 2's. Ugh.
Well, they announced it. It should launch with it. If it doesn't launch with it, oh my God, I don't see what other reason to get a PS5. Because
Yeah,
they showed the
no.
trailer and that was
If it doesn't launch with it, then I will just wait until Horizon comes out.
it.
Like, then I'll get the PS5. Like, fuck that noise. I'm not gonna do that early. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. So, I don't know if there's any pictures that you haven't opened yet, you can feel free to open them. If you have any questions you haven't asked, feel free to ask them now.
Who was her mom?
Oh, her mom's the mountain. Oh, yeah,
No, who
crucially
was her mom?
important. Yeah, so Gaia spent most once she was developed, she spent a ton of time with Elizabeth Sobek.
Hmm.
And when everything was going wrong with Hades, they gave the impression that Gaia and Elizabeth were genuinely friends. Like the AI kind of understood friendship and understood that out of all humans, like it liked Elizabeth the best. And so when everything was going crazy with Hades, Gaia went, we need Elizabeth back. We need her specifically. We can't have just any human. We need her. And so
Hmm.
it used some of her DNA that had been stored by, I think it's Eleuthia, to actually create Elizabeth. And once it was Elizabeth was a baby, they delivered her to the Nora and was like, "Here, raise this." And the Nora were like, "Exile." So AIs don't understand everything, but she was literally just produced from the mountain.
How?
They did
How?
not go into how a mountain births a
How
person,
they
but my guess is it
how they
involves a
keep her
petri dish.
alive? What the heck?
Well, all it had to do was basically be a petri dish, and then once she was ready to be with people, the mountain delivered her once there were people inside the mountain. So,
That's weird.
yeah. It is, but that's why the Nora don't like her, is because she was born they call her motherless. They tease her about
Yeah.
not having a mother all the time, and you kind of get the impression that the Nora is a kind of matriarchal society, so not having a mother is a bit of a problem.
Hmm.
So, that answers
Is there
that
anybody
question.
else like her?
That it was just born out of a mountain?
Hmm.
Not that anybody remembers, for because at this point there's enough people that people just find somebody and make babies the old-fashioned way. But originally there had to be people that were just born raised in the mountain. I don't know, but it had to have happened because the mountain, like, there are people everywhere now, so, but not in generations.
Why do I feel like in the second one, they're like, you weren't born in the mountain. You were actually this, and they just like brainwashed her or some crap.
That would be terrible. Because that was
Oh,
a huge part of that. Double checking my notes here. Do you have any other questions? Anything that you're curious about? If you don't have an idea, you can always check the document that I sent you in case you want to follow any of those.
um, what do you want out of what was something missing from the first game that you think should have been in it?
Ooh, should have been in it's kind of a hard one, but was surprising wasn't in it. Multiple people over the course of the game show interest in Aloy, sexual interest,
Hmm.
and there's no romance option in the game. And so, like, at one point, you're propositioned by a king, and I'm like, I mean, of the options I've had so far, not bad, but that you can't. There's just no romance in the game. And there's been last time I checked, which was not recently, so I could be wrong here. People in the
Hmm.
comments tell me if I'm wrong. There there was no plan for romance in the second game either, which is fine. Like Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
Lara Croft has never had a romance ever in game,
No.
never in game romance. So it's perfectly fine to leave her without a romantic partner. It's just surprising. I'm used to RPGs. You've got a slew of characters that are willing to sleep with you if you say the right thing and do the right thing. So I'm kind of used to that,
Yeah.
and I was a little surprised to not see that.
It is weird for an RPG not to have. Well, no. Wait. No, that is kind of weird. Most RPGs usually have that as a thing to do.
Yeah, they've got a list of people that you can do, and this does not have one. So that was a little bit
Yeah.
surprising to me.
That is pretty surprising, actually. I didn't know the game was really an RPG. I thought it was like just a third-person action adventure kind of thing. I didn't know you had to level up and stuff in it.
Oh yeah, you have to level up. You actually you level up your skills, and then you also level up and craft like your weapons and your armor. And this game, so I was playing this game with alongside one of my friends. She was also playing it, so I'd go see her once a week, and she'd be like, "I can't get past this stupid thing." And this game has you purchase and actually like level up and improve your armor, but it has like each armor has a different point. Like some armor is going to be really great for stealth, and others going to be really good for handling fire damage for when you're taking on one of those bellow backs that just wants to obliterate you with fire. Well,
Hmm.
in game, when you're in cutscenes and everything like that, whatever armor you're wearing in those cutscenes. So your character, some of this armor, some of it looks really cool, and some of it doesn't. It just looks stupid. And my friend couldn't handle it. She's like, I'm not putting armor, I'm not putting this outfit on my character if it makes my character look stupid. But then she couldn't do anything because you
Yeah,
have to level up your armor and you have to use like stealth armor to do stealth stuff. And I was very surprised how different it was when you were trying to use, like when you did and didn't use stealth armor and like the stealth upgrades. Huge, astronomical, dead constantly versus I've killed everything and nobody even knew I was there kind of difference. And so we kept
yeah.
telling her, like, put on the stealth armor if you want to go on a stealth mission. She's like, but it looks stupid. And I'm like, then die. Like, those are your choices. Like,
Well,
pick your
that's the
favorite.
thing. That's been a thing in RPGs. It's either look cool and suffer the cons, or you look dumb and you have like these crazy buffs. Like it's like that in Monster Hunter sometimes. Like you can like mix up the armors a bunch to get like these certain like buffs and everything,
Hmm.
but you'll look dumb, like really dumb, like my brother did. And I was like, dude, you look dumb because you have all these mixed match stuff. But they threw in layered armors in the game so you could mix match all your stuff, but you can look like whatever.
You can
Actually,
still
for
look
Monster
cool.
Hunter, yeah, actually for Monster Hunter on PS4, they have Alloy as a skin.
Oh, cool. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. They should. She's neat.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, well, we don't have a character for Xbox, so I was like, I just want Master Chief in everything. Anything they do crossovers for, Halo. Doesn't matter what game. Halo can mix into it regardless.
It can just any lore, I can figure it out. I'll write it if I have to. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
This game also, I think it's important to note, this game won like 14 awards, and it won awards in multiple countries for like not only the amazing voice actress job, Ashley Birch was the voice actress, but while the dialogue was critiquable, her performance was not, and like the visuals won awards, the gameplay won awards, like everything that could win awards, the soundtrack, like it won awards. This just got all kinds of awards when it came out in 2018, and I I loved this, and this is one of those games that has stuck with me. I would put it over
hmm
Mass Effect in some ways, primarily because of the visual experience. Like Mass Effect, if you go back and play it now, it's definitely an older game, and you
Oh
can
yeah,
tell.
that game it did not age well. Well,
Unfortunately,
actually, actually it aged well, but like you can tell that it's an old game. Like there's some games like fucking Halo 3. I don't know why that game just like doesn't look bad to me ever. Even after playing all these other games, like Halo 3 still looks fucking great. I don't know why, but it does.
and is there a chance it's rose-colored glasses?
Hmm?
Is it a chance it's because you just love it so much?
No, it just looks good. Like there'll be pictures like online, people taking screenshots because it just came out on PC and everything, and it's like, oh, I took this picture, and I'm like, oh shit, that's still Halo 3. It still looks pretty fucking good.
Still
It's
looks
like
damn good.
it's
Woo!
crazy. Yeah.
My only beef with this game actually isn't with the game, but my beef is with Sony. So when Sony decided they were interested in publishing it, they got really nervous. They're like, we're not sure anybody will play this game if it has a female lead character
hmm
because, girls. So let's do some focus testing to see if anybody would actually be willing to play this game if it has a female character. And
Yeah.
given that it is one of the top four best-selling PS4 games, I am delighted to know that their caution was dumb. Makes me very angry because like Lara Croft
Yeah.
is another one where like that's a lead female character. Nobody bitches about it. So I get a little grumpy about those things. But
I can't remember what there was some company recently that said female leads don't sell, and I was like, that's wrong
that's not
because I
true.
mean Horizon Zero Dawn, Tomb Raider, and Hellblade were like super successful titles, and I'm sure there's well, like pretty much every RPG where you can create your own character, you pretty much have a female lead. Even like Mass Effect had like
Yeah.
Finn Shepard. So
Yeah. And I know a ton of guys that played through as her and they did it. That was their preferred way of playing because they enjoyed it. And
yeah,
Samus, what was the game that Samus is from?
Metroid.
Yeah, Samus is a woman too. And When people found out, they were like, "Oh, I had no idea." But that was the big kerfuffle.
Yeah,
Was I didn't know, not you have emasculated me in the most personal way possible, and I hate you and everything you stand for. Like,
yeah, yeah. I don't know why people hate that. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know why people. I don't know. It's fucking. It's just dumb. I don't know why
I mean,
people
you're
get so
playing an
upset about stuff like
RPG,
that.
like you're already assuming somebody else's role. Like,
Yeah,
is it better? Is it less weird if you're a gnome versus if you happen to play as a hot chick? Like, I don't get it, but
I don't know. People are weird.
yeah, people are weird. But again, when it became one of the best-selling PS4 games, I feel like they were stoutly told that they were wrong. So I feel like
Yeah.
I've told you everything that I had planned to tell you. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh no, I think I asked them all.
I'm incredibly impressed with your notes, by the way. I know that like the audience can't see it, but I usually take pages and pages of notes, and you have just 2 pages, and it's brilliant. I mean, well done. So, all right. Unless you have any more questions, I'm going to hit you with this final quiz.
Okay.
All right. Main character's name.
That's Alloy. Wait, are you asking me the same questions?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you the same four from the
Oh,
beginning because I didn't tell you the answers to those. The part of those questions is to make sure that you have questions to ask. Like if I hadn't told you how the monsters were made or the machines were made, you asking or knowing to ask what is a cauldron would have been a valuable thing.
yeah.
So, who is the main character's mother?
The mountain
Yeah.
or All Mother.
Yeah, well done. I expected you to go for Gaia, not All Mother, but well done. All Mother is the right answer. Um, does the main character live on Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is a cauldron?
It makes the bad robots or like it like I guess what's the word I'm trying to find I guess
Manufacturers?
that or like
Yeah.
hold them in there because you said you got to go there to capture like the whole like taming thing for it.
Yeah, they usually have you've got to go in there and get the override key basically from the cauldrons. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, they're manufacturers and they don't only manufacture the bad ones. It's just a lot of the bad ones you find when you're in there.
Hmm.
Why do the people use primitive tools in the game?
Because they're scared of the fucking. Well, they don't understand it, and I guess they're scared of the
Yeah,
technology.
both answers are
Oh, oh,
accurate.
you did talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. What is Aloy's most valuable tool slash best weapon? There are two different answers to this, and I will take either one.
The focus, the thing, the
Yeah.
scanning device.
Yeah, the focus or like the little corruption tool that she uses to override. Both of those are acceptable answers. So yeah.
Okay.
Does the main character have a romance in the game?
Yes and no. Like she's offered a bunch, it doesn't happen.
There you go. That's the right answer. What happened to the world as we know it?
Uh, Hades. Oh no, no, no. Actually, no. That Pharaoh company had robots and they lost connection to them, so they just started destroying everything.
Yeah, good job. Can you name one machine in Horizon Zero Dawn? I did name them when I sent you the pictures, but if you can do it without looking at that, you get bonus points.
Oh, wait, how many? One?
Just name one. Can you remember one?
The Corruptor? Or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, good
That was my
job.
favorite
All
one.
right.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, okay, you get bonus points, which means if you get this one right, you're actually going to be the first person in Dead Funny history to get more than 100% on a quiz. Who is the enemy?
The enemy?
Yeah, who's the enemy of Horizon Zero Dawn?
Oh, the fucking, wait, I wrote it down. The Eclipse.
And who's running the Eclipse?
Who's running the Eclipse?
You know it?
Um, who? Fucking, I guess goddamn Hades.
Yeah, Hades. Yeah,
Oh,
goddamn Hades is the right answer.
I don't know. I was like, we didn't talk about anybody.
There's technically are a couple of like individuals, but you don't care about them. You care about the big scary robot behind it. All right. That you aced your final quiz. You did get 110%. You did an amazing job. Any chance that you will play the first game?
Not on PS4.
Not on PS4. All right, I'll
Not on
take
PS4.
it.
If they come out with a bundle that like I'm pretty sure they are. If they're gonna come out with it bundled with the PS5 and it's like, hey, get Horizon Zero Dawn for free, I'll get
Mhm.
it.
Okay. All
But
right, I'll take that.
or maybe it depends. It depends. If something big's coming out around that time, maybe not. I don't know, but I don't know. I have to get a PS5, so it's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen.
All right. Well, I will when you play the second one, I want you to report back to me what you think of it. But in the
Okay.
meantime, Brandon, thank you so much for giving us your time today. It was wonderful to have you as a student and have you on the show.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Everybody, if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to our channel. That would help us in a huge way. Also, any comments that you may have, if I made a mistake, I will be upset, and you can tell me in the comments below. If anything you want to say about what you enjoyed about Horizon Zero Dawn, or something that I skipped that you think really was absolutely essential, feel free to throw that in the comments. I will come down there and interact with you in those. Also, we have our Twitter and our Twitch links below if you want to see more of Brandon. Brandon, you've got a Twitter and Twitch link down there, right?
I have a Twitter, but I have a Twitch too. Well, I should start using it because I was just like, I don't know. I forget that it's on Xbox because they just have Mixer there in the broadcast tab. But I
Mm-hmm.
do have one. I just have to remember all the like sign-ins and all that jazz because I gotta remember to like sign in on my Xbox.
So if you want to watch Brandon play games, comment below that you want him to go through the process of remembering all of his sign-ins and everything like that. And I'm sure he will be willing to oblige if he knows he's got people that are going to come and watch him. But at the end of this, we're super excited to see you in the next class of Dead Funny University. Bye, friends.